Hi, I'm Tim McQuay with McQuay Stables. Been in the reining horse business forever, and this is my son-in-law, Tom McCutcheon, and Dell Hendricks, who lives across the street from me.
So when we started the legacy, it was more about just, you know, us having a good place to market our horses. We all had a lot of brood mares and stuff, and I know at that point in time the only sale for yearlings, for good reining yearlings, was at the futurity, and that was pretty hectic for us to take that many there.
And plus, we had too many amongst all of us to sell them all at the
Right.
NRHA fraternity sale. You know, because we'd bring, Tom would have 20, or Dell would have 20, I'd have 25 or 30. It was just too many for us to take to the NRHA fraternity and expect the sale to even accept that many. So we put it together. You know, there was a couple other breeders that got in when we started, and they've kind of dwindled, but we've hung in there like old dogs and made it work.
And I think one of the most important things that we did, and we didn't the first year, but the second year, we made it a select sale by only allowing yearlings in the sale that their mothers had either won money or produced money. And there's no other sale out there like that, and including some of the other select sales in our industry. They just don't have those standards.
Yeah, and you know, those yearlings have won $10 million that have gone through that sale. You know, they've been fraternity champions and won all the major events and been in the USCF teams, and it's just amazing what they've done.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
We're definitely our best customers. I mean, some years it just feels like we switch barns.
But that's
Some of Tim's and some of Tom's, but that's what makes it go around. I mean, I won a lot of money on Starbuck's Sidekick, and he was in the very first sale. I won the Congress fraternity with him, and he was just a little gray yearling. I had a guy, I was really proud of him after I bought him, and I had a guy I brought on the show, and he says, "Well, that's pretty cute for an Angora goat."
and you're going,
Angora goat
oh.
for $200,000.
Yeah, exactly. It's kind of like people say, well, how can you guys be in business and aren't you just bothering each other all the time? Dell lives across the road, and we have to make a special trip to go see each other. You know, we might run into each other. You're busy doing your own stuff.
And a lot of times, you know, you get to condense going and looking, instead of spending a day here and a day there and a day here and a total of 15 days and all kinds of time going to look at all kinds of different places. You can go in one place and look at 100 really good ones. And, you know, I would like to think that the ones I've bought from them, I got cheaper than if I'd have went straight to their house to buy them. You know, we sell horses over the phone every year, and you know, I know a lot of horses go to Europe after our sale. They come from all over the world to come to this sale. We've had, you know, people flying from the Netherlands just for the weekend to come and watch the sale, and that's pretty common now. It's not a sale anymore, it's an event.
Yeah, and the other thing it does, it not only brings people for our sale, but it brings people that come to our sale and go to his place. They go all over North Texas at other people's places looking for horses. It draws people to do a lot of business in this area. The only thing that we've talked about amongst ourselves, just in a short little bit, was tightening what it takes to get in our sale. Just because we want to, the world is upgrading, and we feel like we should upgrade also.
I'll be divorced if we have a third day.
We're already hooked into a show, because we leave tonight or tomorrow morning and go to Southwest. So we're a little bit in a time crunch.
You know, and the only thing I see that's going to evolve over time is the criteria is going to get, you know, more stringent every year. And you know, I know from the start if the mare had won, you know, $3, that was enough. And now, you know, we've raised that, and you know, we just today actually we're talking about raising it again for next year. So
we've advertised how much the colts out of this sale have won, and I know other sales thought about doing the same thing, And when they did their numbers, they said, nah, we're not going to advertise that. Our numbers just squashed the rest of them.
Right.
Yeah, we're pretty lucky that way. The best one was, though, he's the worst one because he'll bid on one, and his wife always watches the money, always, and he'll stop bidding, and she'll look at him like, are you stupid? You're not going to quit now.
Several years ago, I was bidding on a broodmare, and I had my number that I was not going to go any higher. So I went to that number and bid, and I actually was turning around and I was visiting with Tom because they'd bid higher than me. They dropped the hammer, and the lady comes up and says, will you sign this? I said, no, I quit. She says, she kept bidding. My wife bought that.
And Mandy bought the one little Nickadoodle from Jerry 2 years ago. She just stood there and said, Tom, I bought this one.
Yep. And well, Cade's going to show the Nickadoodle this year in the fraternity, and actually he rode him this morning, got along really good with him. He's a nice little horse. So, you know, Mandy, one thing about Mandy, she's a pretty good picker of livestock. So,
And she won't give up very easy.
no, she sure won't. She obviously can pick, you know.
Everybody makes a
She
mistake
knows
occasionally.
quality.